Hello, fairy finders and fairy seekers. Welcome to FaerieQuest and week 1 of the self-discovery journey with the fairies on how to find your soul purpose. We will be using the Wee Folk Toracles deck that I created from the photographs of the fairies that I've taken since 2016, and also the dowsed messages that they have given me that have been placed on the back of each card. I think that you'll find this to be a pretty amazing and fun way to learn from the fairies how to go about finding your soul purpose, what you're supposed to be doing in this lifetime. So let's go and see what the fairies have to share. Welcome to week 1 of the FaerieQuest spiritual discovery journey. We're going to hop right in and shuffle the cards and see what the Wee Folk or the fairies have to share with us in this reading. Keep in mind that the fairies on these cards are not fairies like Tinkerbell. These are all manner of so-called mythical beings, many different species with many different messages. So with that in mind, we are going to split the deck and see what fairy comes forward. And what we have here is the little fairy that I call the little drummer boy. Now what we're going to begin with this reading is the impressions of this fairy. Impressions are very important in the message itself. They may not make a lot of sense as I'm sharing these impressions. However, once we read the message on the back of the card, everything kind of comes together in a really amazing way. I call this guy the little drummer boy. This photograph was taken at the Natural Bridge in Clinton, Arkansas. The Little Drummer Boy, the song, was about a little boy who played the drum for baby Jesus. And that was his gift. He had a gift. And since the photo was also taken at the Natural Bridge, this is going to have something to do with a gift and the Natural Bridge from, since he's a child, from childhood to adulthood. We see that the card itself, he's a little on the blurred side, but he is wearing what I call, or what's called a kofia, which is a hat from East Africa. And it has a little tiny emblem in the center, which to me, as an impression, first thing that comes to mind is his third eye. And because everything is kind of blurred, he's a child. He doesn't know what adulthood is going to bring for him. He probably doesn't have full clarity of that third eye at this point because he's a little guy. He's also looking like he's playing airplane. He has both of his arms stretched out wide, and one hand is white, the other is black, and that is the furthest distance on his body from one hand to the other as he's sitting on his bottom on a rock. That to me indicates a path, a very straight path, black and white, no doubts about which direction you're meant to go. But then we have his kofia hat, and that's an East African accessory. And in Africa, we also have the Nile, which is the longest river in the world, and it's a winding path. So we have the East African reference with the Nile, and we have the straight path with the arms. So could be one or the other here. This little guy also has a drum sitting in his lap, and he seems very focused on that drum, almost like he's afraid if he hits it, it might reveal a secret to him. And that secret might be something that's so overwhelming that it might open up that third eye in such a way that it will reveal something he needs to know. He is also looking straight at us, which tells me that this is something that we need to deal with in the now, something we need to do in the now. He is also a child, which means the situation has to do with something in childhood. And because we have him playing airplane and we have him, getting ready to play the drum, I think it has something to do with what we did as children, how we played. That was a gift and is the natural bridge for us from childhood to adulthood. So let's flip this card over and see what this little guy has to share. His name is Thimble, and the message that he is giving is called the rhythm. He says, everything that lives has a unique rhythm. A heart beats, yet all heart rhythms are not the same. 10 people together, each with a drum, each with one hand on their heart, the other hand mimicking the heart rhythm. No heart song is the same. You have a rhythm, which means you are unlike anyone else. When you discover your rhythm, you will be in sync with your soul purpose. You will truly live by the beat of your own drum. Wow. Pretty profound message from such a little guy. So he's given us two things. He's given us the understanding that what he's trying to share has to do with our soul purpose, and also to understand that we have a heart song that allows us to really embrace, really understand what that soul purpose is all about. So the exercise, I believe, that he is sharing with us through the impressions of his photograph and also through his message is that over the course of this week, we need to find our own heart rhythm, which means placing our hand on our heart. And it doesn't matter if you have a drum or you don't. You can use a table, you can use your leg, whatever is available to you, and start feeling your heart rhythm. I believe what this will do is to begin opening up that third eye. And as you are getting comfortable with your rhythm, with your heart song, and that third eye begins to open, you should concentrate on or attempt to remember what you enjoyed doing as a child. Because this is a natural bridge. You came in knowing your soul purpose. However, as the pressures of society, the pressures of being able to make a living and listening to other people tell you you can or you can't do something specific, all of these things tend to cause us to forget what we came into this life to do. Many of us go the way of the Nile River, the winding and unpredictable path with many obstacles. Sometimes that's how it's meant to be. We all have specific lessons we need to learn in this lifetime. We all have certain people we need to meet. The end result being that we are ready to take on our soul purpose, to be able to do whatever our soul purpose is, which is usually connected with something specific for humanity, to open up other people, open up their third eyes, open up their pathway. Now, this isn't anything that anyone else can do for you. This is something you need to do for yourself to be able to begin the memory process. You may not be at a point in your life where you have learned all the lessons, where you have met the people you need to meet. However, being able to discover through this heart rhythm and opening up the third eye and looking at the childhood play will allow you to begin to have an inkling as to what that soul purpose is supposed to be, so that perhaps the Nile River way won't have to be your way. You can do the black and white short path or the black and white straight path to reach your soul purpose in this lifetime. Maybe it won't take you until you're in your 40s or 50s, but finding that heart rhythm, opening that third eye, and having some remembering of what that soul purpose is the only way that you're going to perhaps be able to accelerate the process. So, again, this week, place that hand on your heart, beat the drum, embrace your rhythm, and allow your third eye to open up and remember the play. Remember what it is that you loved doing, and consider, once those impressions begin coming in, consider if that's something you are passionate about now. You may have to try it out and see if that is, still a passion of yours. But don't let it be a secret. Don't not beat the drum as he is doing on here because you're afraid of what you might find. Go ahead and work with your heart rhythm and see where it takes you. So that's it for this reading, and we will see you next week, week number 2. Take care.